The third thing is the cause and effect, the relationship between user needs and the solution they seek. So we went through the 2 examples, but we did not go through the third example at the back. صح? So the third example at the back, what was the situation? If we can get a mic all the way to the back. You can? طيب. What was the situation? Perfect. Okay, but what was his situation? What did you want to buy? Yes? تفضل. حلو. صح مظبوط. حلو. فهو في الدائرة حكومية والوظيفة بتاعته إن هو الشخص المسؤول عن التوقيعات الأساسية الرسمية. فhe needs a very specific pen that represents the brand of the government entity that he is going to sign with. That's a very specific situation. So you need to understand the cause and effect, the relationship between user needs and the solution that they seek. Because if we understand the background, if we understand the challenges, and if we understand why they hire, that's when we start to understand what jobs they want to create, and then we can build products based on that. So, and this is one thing that most founders do. The first thing that a founder that is starting a business or the product team, the first thing that they do is they go ahead and they want to build something because they feel passionate about it, without taking into consideration what are the actual needs or challenges of their customers or their clients. So far? Okay. What types of jobs exist? So those are the 3 types of jobs. There are only 3 main types of jobs. There are functional jobs, there are emotional, personal jobs, and there are social jobs. Let's analyze the 3 situations we had with the first example that we gave. صح? So in your situation, what do you think was the job? Was it functional? Was it personal? Was it social? It was functional. Perfect. Why was it functional? Because you needed to do a task and you needed that pen to solve the problem for you. صح? Perfect. Functional jobs are things that we do to complete a specific task or solve a specific problem. That's the whole point of us doing that. So we need a solution that helps us achieve that. A solution that solves that problem for us. If you can solve my functional task that I need to do, that's when I will buy it from you. You don't have to sell me. You don't have to put an effort. You don't have to do anything. I will just go ahead and take it from you. صح? Because it solves my desperate need. Personal or emotional jobs. Can you guys give me examples on what is a personal or emotional job? What do you think is an emotional job? What products in our lives? Sending gifts. Perfect. Okay, what is the solution that you would use to send a gift? Joy gifts. Exactly. So it solves. تمام. But I'm going to challenge you a bit here. Are you ready? So you're saying that you use it because it's emotional, صح? But is the emotion buying the gift, or is it يعني what does the platform do? What problem does it solve? Social media? You said social media, صح? I'm going to come back to you for this. But the emotional need is buying the gift. صح? What does the platform do for you? Does it allow you to buy the gift, or does it solve the logistical issues of the gift? Is it functional or is it emotional? It's functional. It's actually both. So there is one part of it that is functional, and there is one part of it that is emotional, which is buying the gift itself. What other examples? Can you think of examples in fintech? Yeah? For emotional jobs in fintech. Who said transferring money? Yeah, transferring money. Transferring money to family members, صح? Okay, it's an emotional job, right? How do you solve for that? How do you figure out what is the emotional job? What would you do? You give them money, they're happy. What else? What do you think? Huh? صح 100%. 100%. Exactly. So that's a great example. Saving is emotional, yes. Is it emotional or is it functional? Or is it social? or it's all three. Exactly. So you can see how complicated it can get. So the idea is you need to figure out those answers and you need to ask those questions so much. You have to get so deep into your customer to understand exactly what they need, what they crave, what is the functional job, what is the personal job, what is the emotional job. How can I put together 2 or 3 jobs and I can solve a solution, or give them a product that solves all 3, for example. Tamam? All right. So let's look at examples of well-worded jobs to be done and some of them that are not very well-worded so that you understand the sentence لما تقولوها. طيب أول حاجة لما نقول I buy a brush أنا بجيب فرشة سنان because it helps me brush my teeth in the morning. Do you think that's the job I use the brush عشان أغسل سناني الصبح? What is the job? What? Clean my teeth, صح? Keep the health. You just read it from there? Is that what you did? I see you. You just read it from there. So keep my teeth healthy. The goal, what is the goal? What is the outcome? What is the end result that I'm trying to achieve? So I'm not trying to brush my teeth in the morning. I don't want the activity, but I want to keep my teeth healthy. Now, why is this important? Because what if somebody decides to invent something that can keep your teeth healthy that is not a brush? Does this make sense now? Doesn't make sense. But so solutions will always change. They will always evolve. Anybody can come up with something completely innovative that we never thought of and solve something that we've been using for hundreds of years that we thought is a product that will say. But keep my teeth healthy, this is eternal. Of course, I will always want to keep my teeth healthy. Unless you have some really serious issues in your life. So keep my teeth healthy. You will always want to keep your teeth healthy. So what you need is a product that you hire that gives you the ability to keep your teeth healthy. Does that make sense? Okay, so get my, I'm buying a mop, so I can get my floor as clean as possible when I vacuum. Is this the purpose? Okay. I want to maintain a clean living space. I can use a mop, I can use a robot, I can use anything I want, صح? So solutions will change, products will change, but the outcome, the job to be done will never change. But you have to identify it and say it properly, because if you say it properly, then you can always create new solutions for it. Is that clear? Okay, let's go to the next one. So we're gonna do a little bit of an exercise together. Are you ready? More exercises, more fun. طيب, so the objective of this exercise is I want everybody to work together or in groups, and I'm going to be asking questions and you're going to be answering. But you can work together or you can work separately. It's up to you. But it's better to work together. تمام? I want you to identify the core job to be done for Uber's main client. تمام? And then you have to determine the type of job. Is it a functional job? Is it an emotional job? Is it a social job? And then we want to create this sentence. Formulate the statement. When, what is the situation? I want to, what's the motivation? So I can, expected outcome. Are you guys ready? Okay, let's do that together. So, مش شرط بس الهدف منها ان دي بتسهل عليكم يعني انا ليه هي مقصود بيها كده so that you can find out what is the situation, what is the motivation, and what is the expected outcome. So الجمل sentences that we saw before, let's actually go back to the sentences. Those are outcomes. That's the last side of the statement. So these are outcomes, right? So here you have to figure out what the situation is. What is the motivation behind it? So it's a functional, emotional, what is the motivation behind it? And the last thing, what is the expected outcome? Okay, so let's do this together. So Uber, who's Uber's main client? We can work together, يلا. All of us, صح? Okay, but when you have a business, do you cater to everybody? Okay, this is a حلو, this is an assumption. بس حلو, let's go with this assumption. طيب, الشخص اللي في القرية اللي في مشاوير بسيطة محتاج so desperately needs an Uber. what does he need to do? What's the job? توصيلة. بس كده? Give me more details. Arrival. What does arrival mean? عايز أوصل؟ خلاص. She went to the end result على طول. What's the goal? Okay, everybody is shouting words, but I want you to think about it from the concept that we just studied. Jobs to be done. Who's the customer? We can role play. Ooh, he studied. هو دارس. هو جاي جاهز. To go from point A to point B. That's actually 100% true. So the job to be done of a client is I want to go from point A to point B. I don't want the hassle. I don't want to think. I don't want anything else. أنا مش عايز صداع, مش عايز تاكسي, مش عايز ناس تتكنسل عليا. I just want somebody to move me from one place to the next place. That's the main job. صح? طيب. Now, if that's the main job, how do you think this translates into user experience design, UX design? Because that's the whole topic that we're talking about today. We're not talking about product, we're talking about how does that translate into design. Now you found out the job to be done. You found out the core need. How will this benefit you? How can you build better products with it? How can you build a better design? Think. What do you think? What do you think, guys, happened? Yes. 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 Okay, all of this is amazing, but does this answer the core need of I want to go from point A to point B, or is it everything beautiful around it? Perfect. Tell us the situation. Yeah. Perfect. So you book an Uber to get to Astrolab as fast as possible. Okay, so how does this translate? I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to challenge you now. How does this translate into UX design? So if we're designing an app, we're designing a solution, right? A technology. So the app, how does this translate into the design of the app? Perfect. It has to be available. What else? It has to be quick. What else? Taking the car. Perfect. حلو. Perfect. Such a fintech guy. Of course he has to say that. حلو. But I'm going to challenge you a bit more, right? Because everything you said is the solution. It's not the UX design. So, are you guys ready? What do you think? Huh? Okay, but if you're in a hurry, is it about choice of car, or I'm in a hurry, I just want to get into a car? اللي قاعدة جنبك غششتك صح؟ Okay, I love this answer. Thank you so much. So you think you're saying, I need to show right where I am, صح? That's the most important thing. But what's the most important job that you need to do? What did he want to do? I want to get to a point. So what's the first thing you want to see? Thank you so much. There you go. So we want to get to the point. So this is actually how Uber revolutionized UX design when it utilized jobs to be done. So Uber actually were the first company that utilized the jobs to be done framework. So what they did is they understood the client so well. They just challenged him just like I challenged him. And what they discovered is he wants to get from point A to point B quickly. He doesn't care about anything else. So what was the usual before Uber? All the other hail riding cars. So the hail riding cars were, the first thing it does, it asks you to sign in. And then the second thing it does, it asks you where you are, like you said. And then the next thing, it tells you pick a car. And then the third thing it does, it's like all those steps. But what do I need to do? So now the first thing that Uber did is Uber opened the app, and the first thing you see is where to. عايز تروح فين؟ تحت أمرك. عايز تروح فين? This is the beauty of understanding the core job that your client wants to do, and how do you reflect this in a design. وصلت? Perfect. طيب, what is the difference between customer persona and jobs to be done? Actually, let's go back, and I don't want anybody to look at that. Let's play this game again. So, everybody here knows what a customer persona is, right? You all work in companies, you all know your client. في حد هنا ما يعرفش الكلاينت بتاعه؟ في حد هنا ما يعرفش مين الكاستمر بتاعه؟ صح؟ Okay, so what is a customer persona? Because we build our entire product around the customer persona, صح? What is the customer persona? Who needs my service, صح? Okay, how do you define them? You search about them? How do you search about them? You interview them. Nice. Perfect. Made up character, exactly. Perfect. So we interview them. We understand their pains, their needs, what they're going through, and then we start creating a persona, a fictional character. Ali محتاج يعمل 1 2 3 صح? And then we put ourselves in Ali's shoes and we start thinking how he will do stuff, right? Okay, so this is what everybody does. Do you think customer persona is enough for you to design a product based on what we just learned? Because everybody does customer persona, صح? So what's the difference? What do you need to know more? What does customer persona miss? What Ali needs to do. Exactly, because you're talking about everything about Ali. You're talking about his life, his يعني مشاكله مع حماته, everything. Like we're going over everything with Ali, but except the core desires or the job to be done that he needs to do it. So if we go here and start looking at what is the difference between customer persona and jobs to be done, let's go over them quickly. So the first thing, customer persona, it's a fictional, like you said, perfect, fictional representation based on demographic, behavior, psychological traits. Okay, what's the difference between it and jobs to be done? Jobs to be done, notice this. It's a specific task. It's a specific need. It's a motivation that users seek to fulfill. See how specific it goes? Okay, what is the focus of customer persona? Emphasizes who the user are, their preferences, their behaviors, their goals, their pain points. Let's think together, what is the importance of customer persona? What should you do with a customer persona? We don't throw it away just because we learned about jobs to be done. We still use it. How do we use it? What do you guys think? Okay, so customer persona, again, it's demographic, behavior, psychological traits. How can we use customer persona? Yes and no. So you're getting close. But the idea of customer persona is you can learn about their demographic, where they are, so I can market to them. I can understand their behavior, so I can go to the places that they are at. صح? So understanding the customer persona has its benefit. So we don't throw it away, we still use it, but we use it in a different way. But jobs to be done is when you put it in the framework of UX design, that's when you start looking at what is the core thing that they want to do. And I start from there and then build with the customer persona. Does that make sense? Okay. So what is the purpose? It aids in understanding user background, preferences, habits, design, and marketing. That's why I'm telling you it's super important, because you can market to them when you know where they are. But jobs to be done helps understand the core needs, motivation, drivers, user behavior to guide product innovation. This is how you innovate on your product. All right. So what are some effective strategies of understanding user needs? We all know this, صح? Is there anything new here that you have not heard of before? So, user interviews, surveys and data collection, co-creation workshops, and ethnographic studies. What is ethnographic studies? Sorry. What is that? What do you think is that? Yes, exactly. That is exactly what it is. So, good thing. Okay, we're going to hear now. What did you say?
Okay, I just mentioned that it's different from the other, let's say, methods. It's basically where you go and you're not planning to meet them or interview them. You want to watch them in their natural state when they're performing the tasks.
So it's observation. So what you do is, so it's observations. It's basically you sit back and you watch. So I'll tell you a story. Remember in the beginning when I told you I had my own startup for 5 years, blah, 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 all that nonsense that doesn't mean anything? So the first thing I did is I went to an investor because I'm very arrogant and I said, give me money. So the investor said, did you do research? I was like, of course. What did you do? Interviews. I did surveys and data collection. I did co-work. I did everything. And he's like, I worked in augmented reality and AI in the furniture industry. So he said, did you go to a furniture house, like a store? Did you watch people purchase? And I'm like, no. And he's like, go there for 2 months and then come back and I'll give you money. So here's the interesting part. When I went there, even though I did interviews, even though we did surveys and collection, we did everything, but observation is sitting back and watching the behavior of your clients changes so many perspectives. You start seeing things that you've never noticed before. So what we started noticing, something that changed the core business completely. And because of that, we were able to raise funds afterwards. So بغض النظر عن raising funds, that's not the point here. But the point is, you have to observe your clients. And observing client comes when it comes to UX design. It's very important in UX design. Because how do you do that? How do you observe somebody who's not in front of you? But you can't do that because you have an app, you have a website, you have a technology, right? You're all amazing entrepreneurs here about fintech, right? You don't interact with your customer. So how do you understand, how do you observe them? Like, she's asking, can you use tools? What do you guys think? Can you use tools? Analyzing data, huh? Yes, how do they purchase and how do they use your technology? What else? What else? Come on, people think, huh? أيوة. حلو الانترفيوز طريقة واقعية 100%. بس how do you observe them when they're not in front of you? So when it comes to UX design, actually one of the best thing you can do is give somebody your application or your website and stand back and just watch them interact. Watch what they do. They like look at them. Do they click? Do they have a hard time finding a specific page? Do they have a hard time doing a certain transaction, transferring money or doing something? What is the interaction? Because by observing where they touch the screen, what they do, you can understand if what you're building is something that is easy and like it's so easy for them to use and smooth, or there's complication and I have to go back and redesign it again. أكيد. There are two things you can do. So one, حلو السؤال ده. طيب أجاوب ولا تحبوا تجاوبوا انتوا إيه رأيكم? What do you think? So the question is, can I do this في بيئة أنا I created ولا can it be done differently? What do you guys think? It could be both. How can it be both? What is both? Yes. Which I just mentioned right now, صح? And the other one? The other one is the tools that we just mentioned. So there are tools that scrape data and show you where the customer touched, where the customer had struggles, where the customer dropped off, where he didn't continue a certain transaction. So you can follow that, analyze this data, and go back and redesign a product based على the information that you got. Okay, so testing with jobs to be done scenarios. I'm going to go very quickly over this so that we can actually go into actual fintech examples and studies. But basically what you need to do is it has to be job-centric scenarios. You have to create scenarios. It has to be task-oriented testing. So give them a task, let them test the task in front of you and see how they can achieve that task. And then there is user-centric evaluation, there is measuring success metrics. We can go back to it, but let me go further into the fintech examples, right? Okay. So here's an example, observation and feedback. So observing Ali. يا سبحان الله طلع اسمه علي فعلا. So observing Ali as he performs the transfer, nothing, noting any confusion ده اللي احنا كنا لسه بنقوله. This is the observation side. Any confusion, any hesitation, any gathering of immediate feedback, his experience with the app, including what aspects were intuitive, what was not intuitive, and so on. Okay, what is testing based on jobs to be done insights? Implementing design iterations. So we watch how people interact, and then we go reiterate, redesign, and go back again, and let them try it again. If they can succeed when they did not succeed first, that means that you have improved your product or your design. طيب, these are some case studies in fintech. Do you guys know all those companies or any of them? So first, STCPay. Everybody knows STCPay, صح? So what was your experience with STCPay? Why was, oh wow, everybody's like, I have thumbs up here. Okay, so why was it good?
For me personally, it was very easy to use. Like I can finish my tasks, like get straight to the point.
Perfect. Okay, what else? Why was STCPay successful? Perfect. طيب, what you just said, and to avoid creating an account, what did they overcome as a job to be done? What do you think? بالضبط. I want to transfer the money. زي Uber بالضبط. I want to go from point A to point B. أنا عايز أحول الفلوس. أنا مش عايز صداع. Why is there so many transactions? Why is there so many steps? I just want to get ahead with it. صح? Okay, perfect. طيب. So we're actually gonna go ahead and use this as a case study, but I want you guys to tell me the outputs of it. You tell me, why was SCCPay successful? We talked about a few elements, but look at it from the jobs to be done perspective. What is the core job to be done? Like we did with Uber. Transfer with a phone number. تسجيل ايه؟ Yes. أسهل تسجيل، تمام. صح, exactly. So what did they discover? They discovered that the majority of people that were transferring money abroad, they had a lot of issues with that, صح? So how did they fix this? We just talked about it. They had this partnership, exactly. طيب خلاص. Let's actually move on from STCPay and go into a live scenario from all of you guys. Ready? آخر حاجة خلاص. So group activity. I want a scenario. Somebody here works in a fintech business or has a fintech business. Give me a scenario so that we can work together and discover what is the jobs to be done and what is the solution. Are you ready? Okay, who wants to volunteer? Who wants to volunteer? Okay, perfect. I'm going to bring the mic over. Do we have another mic?